本日のニュースは英検についてです。新しい級名は準2級プラス、準2級と2級との違い、対策方法についてをお送りいたします。
Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Vince's videos. Today, I'm going to talk about the new Grade Pre-2 Plus test. And some of you are probably wondering, why do we have this new test? Well, the short answer is, it's for students who find the Grade 2 test too hard and the Grade Pre-2 test too easy. We need an in-between level to challenge these students. So, what's in the Grade Pre-2 Plus test? There's a reading passage and 4 questions. So, let's talk about the reading passage. This is usually about 4.5 lines, not too long, and it's not too difficult. Question 1 is a question about the passage, and it's usually a how question or a why question. It's a little bit harder than the Grade Pre-2 test, but easier than the Grade 2. Let me explain. Okay, so if it's a how question, students will have to look for expressions like in this way or by doing so, and then if they look at the sentence before that or the passage before that, they can find the answer. Okay, that sounds like Pre-2. But it's a little bit harder because they might see a word like such or this or these, and then they've got to look back to the sentence before. Okay, so they've got to combine information. The same thing goes if they're answering a why question. They'll have to look for a phrase like for this reason or so, and then look back, and then if they see a word like such or this or these, they'll have to look back again and combine the information. Alright, now let's move on to question 2. Question 2 is a little bit like the storytelling in the Grade 2 test. Okay, so there are 3 pictures, and the story has to begin with a sentence on the card, and the student has to tell a story. Now, in the story, there are 5 actions, always 5. And in the first picture, there's 1 action. In the second picture, there are 2 actions. In the third picture, there are 2 actions. All right, so students have to include all 5 actions in their story. Okay, so that is part of the content of the story. And if they include all 5 actions, they'll get full marks for content. Now, students are also graded on vocabulary and grammar. Okay, so if their story has interesting vocabulary and good grammar, they will get good marks. Okay, if their grammar is very simple or has a few little mistakes and their vocabulary is rather boring, very simple, then they'll get low marks. Okay, so students have to be careful about that. Alright, then after question 2, the examiner will tell the student to turn over the card and put it down. Alright, and then the examiner will ask 2 more questions, number 3 and number 4. Okay, now in both questions, the examiner asks the student, do you think something will happen? Or do you think this is good or this is bad or whatever? So the student has to give their opinion, all right? And the student has to answer yes or no. If the student answers yes, the examiner will ask why. And if the student answers no, the examiner will ask why not. Now, when answering these questions, students should try to give 2 reasons. Okay, so if students give 1 reason, then yeah, okay, they'll pass the question. They'll get an average mark. But if they want a perfect score, they'll have to give 2 reasons and using good sentence grammar as well. Okay. Question 4 is a little bit different from question 3 because there is usually a sentence in question 4 about what's happening these days, social trends, what people are doing now. And then there's a follow-up question, do you think, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right, so question 4 is a little bit longer than question 3, but once again, students should answer in 2 sentences. Okay, so that's basically what's in the new test. And I should remind students that at the beginning of the test, it's nice to answer in a friendly way. So if the examiner asks, how are you today? I'm fine, thanks. How are you? Is a good reply, or something like that. And at the end of the test, when you're handing back the card, it's nice to say thank you. All right, that's all for today's episode. Thanks.
ご視聴いただきありがとうございました。チャンネル登録、いいねよろしくお願いします。